Stampers. My name is Linda Bedinger, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. And my buddy Puccini is fast asleep, and so I will put a still in. Last time I said that, he showed up later in the video and sat in the middle of my work. But this time I'm pretty sure he's sound asleep, so I will put up a still. I have a card for you with a different technique. It's a pretty card. It can be anything. I had a swap that I needed to do that was sympathy or anniversary, and so I made mine a sympathy card. It's done with colored pencils using a different medium to make the coloring a lot simpler and not look a lot like colored pencil. So let's just get started. Here is my card, and I'm going to show you what I did. I have one of these bottles that pumps up. I guess people who do your nails use this. They use this pump action kind of thing. I got mine on Amazon, and they pump a little bit of this stuff in the bottom, and it's called Gamsol, Gamsol. I'll put the link down below. And what this is, unscented mineral spirits, and that's going to help us with this watercolor pencil technique. You need 2 regular A2 cards, or 1, I guess, regular A2 card base. There we go, just for a regular A2 card. All right, now then, what I did is I set my items up in my Stamparatus. So then you will need 2 pieces of white that are cut 4 by 5 1/4, one for the inside and one for the outside. And then we also need 2 Flirty Flamingo is what I ended up using. And these are 4 1/8 by 5 5/8, so that they make just ever so slightly a border behind here, just so we pick up a hint of that color both on the inside and the outside. And the only thing that's different on this one is I made this one on the inside a little bit smaller, and I decided I'd like them better to be exactly the same. First, I have my card that is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to put it in my Stamparatus. This, I have to go this way because I'm stamping that with this right up here. And the ink that I used was Granite, and I inked up my stamp, and it says, just a note to let you know you're loved. And you could put happy birthday up here, you could put happy anniversary, you could make this card be anything you wanted. It also could make a lovely sympathy card. And I thought this was kind of in between, because you could say, just to let you know that you're loved, and then on the inside you could put happy birthday or whatever. Now that I've got this inked up on my positioning tool here, and make sure I've got plenty of ink on that, and I'm going to go ahead and put this message down here, and I'll show you how I'm going to use that Gamsol in a minute. But let's make sure we've got our, there we go, just a note to let you know that you are loved. Then I'm going to pull this out and turn this way. Okay, so I'm setting my card in place right along here and putting my magnet up here, because I'm going to do my stamping right down here. I'm trying to move the magnet to the place that it's going to cause the least amount of difficulty. There we go, but I do want to be able to double stamp it in case I miss something. So here we go. I'm going to put my Magnolia down here on the bottom of my card, and using the stamp positioner just makes it a little easier to get things on there just exactly straight. And there's my flower. Very nice. Now the technique I want to show you makes using watercolor pencils super easy. So we'll take this one out, and I must have a little bit of ink on my fingers because I keep getting marks. I'll erase that with my sand eraser in a bit here. But let me move that out of the way, and there's the front of my card done. I used some pumpkin pie. So first, this is that Gamsol, and I'm moving that up into here. And instead, we were taught this technique at a group that I was with, and what they did is they did the color pencil first, and then they used the Gamsol with a blender pen to move the watercolor around. Now we're used to that, but by accident I put my pencil in the Gamsol, and it makes the coloring super easy and really nice and smooth. You can't see any of the lines. So then I started doing it on purpose. And I'm going to put this here so you can kind of see what we're trying to get to. And I used the Daffodil Delight, and I did the inside of the flowers, like here. And I used plenty of the Gamsol to put this yellow down on the inside of these flowers, and it just makes it flow on there so easily I couldn't get over it. So I'm putting this down on the inside of these flowers and partway up the flower on each of them. And on this bud, you can't see any of the pencil marks this way. It's really pretty cool. I put some down like at the bottom of the bud. And a little of this Gamsol goes a long way, but I'd say be generous because it makes it so much easier to do the coloring. And I put this stuff in like at the base of every petal. And so I put it in at the bottoms here. And so I think that is all of the flowers have a little bit of the yellow. Then I moved to Flirty Flamingo. This is the Flirty Flamingo. And so put that in the Gamsol and then blend. Oops, I guess I didn't put any yellow on that one. Blend up very lightly the pink and go over the yellow. And again, using the Gamsol. And you get this beautiful color. Now this one is showing more of the lines using the pencil, although not much. And I'm going to speed this up a little bit so it isn't so tedious watching me do the coloring. Okay, for the greens I used Granny Apple and an old Lemon Lime Twist pencil that I had. And I did one side of the leaf in the lighter green. And in the case where it's like this one, I used the smaller side of the leaf in the lighter green. Okay, and then I used different green, and in this case, I think I'm going to use the old olive to do the darker green part. I thought I would show you what happens when you use the Gamsol at the end. What it does is it takes out any of the pencil marks and it just moves the color around beautifully. And now it looks really like watercolor and not pencil. Look at how beautiful it makes it. And it's so simple. And it makes the coloring, makes using the watercolor pencils way super easier. And you just get this kind of flawless looking coloring done. And the lady that taught us, Terry Kaspari, said she's very generous with the Gamsol, making sure she uses plenty of it to get exactly the look she wants. But I was so impressed with this. It just put the color down and it didn't even really bleed over. And I just thought it was so pretty. And then I used the darker green pencil, so this is the old olive, to color the stems here. And that was pretty much it. Now I do need to get this blemish off, so I'm going to go off camera and erase that. There we go. All right. So that is the front of the card. Now, for the inside of the card, what I did was I used the small flower and I put it right down here in this corner, and I did exactly the same thing. I used those same things, those same colors, to do the watercolor on the flower and the leaves here. Okay, there we go. All colored. Now, what I did was I wrapped a little bit of linen thread, because this seemed like kind of a long ways from there to there. So I put some tape up on this end. Okay, so I wrapped this linen thread around 3 times, and then I snipped off the end of it and secured it onto the glue here. And then I have a little bit of this ribbon, which I'm afraid is retired. But any little piece of ribbon that's the right color will do. And on this one, I put this over the linen thread, but I thought if I didn't have the linen thread, what I might have done is put a little piece of this Flirty Flamingo down across here and then wrap the linen thread around the top of it. So if you don't have anything that you can use that's opaque in the middle like this, and you don't need a very big piece of whatever it is, if you use cardstock, I would cut it to the 4 inches that this is across. With this, what I'm going to do is wrap it around here like this, catch it onto the glue on the back, stretch it across here, and wrap it around the back here. If you're like me, I have ribbon left over that's been retired all over the place, and I just hate not using it. So what we're going to do is take one of these Flirty Flamingo card bases, and we're going to attach this to the back of to the Flirty Flamingo piece. I just think that is so pretty. And there we go. You can manipulate this ribbon around a little bit till it's nice and straight. And then what I used were these things. They're called Adhesive Back Shiny Sequins. And in this case, I used the green ones. You could use the yellow. You could use these kind of pinky orange ones, or you can use the green ones. And I thought this would give me a chance to use these green ones. So I did put several of these on my card. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way. You can see I put one up here, and I put a smaller one right down there. Again, this is much prettier without the Puccini fur. And then I popped a little green one right in here. And I thought, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the green one down here, and I'm going to use these orangey yellow ones in here. There's one. That looks pretty. And maybe one of these yellow ones in here too. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Now we can attach that to our base, which is right here, and it's got just that tiny little border. Put this on with seal. And I just can't get away from the Puccini fur. Now this one is going to go right down here. So even though you're using a bit of a technique, and I did speed that up a little bit, it's a very fast card, and look how pretty that is. I just fell in love with it. Now we have this piece that I colored also, ready to go on one of these. And watercolor pencil is so inexpensive that you can easily have more colors and just do the watercolor pencils with this Gamsol. It not only is fast, it's very easy coloring, especially when you use the Gamsol. It's so easy to color. I like this idea for these kinds of stamps because I don't necessarily like using the markers where you have to mark just certain parts of the stamp. It doesn't always work. But this allows you to change the colors any way you want. I just think it opens up a lot of possibility for using some of our supplies. So I'm going to put some snail on this. I ran out of seal on the other one, so I'll just use this for now. And we put this in here, and there we go. Now you could add another greeting to the inside. Happy birthday, thinking of you, so sorry for your loss, any number of things. But isn't that just the prettiest little card? And I want to bring this up. Now this one I used Flirty Flamingo and the Daffodil Delight pencils. And on this one, I used the Daffodil Delight pencils, and I used Calypso Coral. So you can see the difference between the two. This is almost more vibrant, isn't it? Very pretty. But I want to bring this up to the camera so you can get a really good look at that you really can't see the pencil marks on it at all. Let me put a different light on it here too, because I might be able to get it a little closer for you. There. Let me get that. See if I can get that in the light and close to you so you can see. Yeah, I think it came out pretty well. I'm very, very pleased with it, and pleased to be able to have a way to color in these stamps that have lots of lines on them. This technique is really easy to use. I think this would be great fun to make a Christmas card if you have a poinsettia stamp, to color it and color the green leaves green and the red leaves red. Oh, I think this would be just stunning. That is my project for the day. thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, well, I'd love to be your demonstrator. And I will be back soon with more cards, more tips, and more projects. Bye!